Hi, I'm Kyle, a tired therapist.
And I'm Jackie, also a tired therapist.
And together, we are
Two tired therapists.
Welcome to the pod. I have started, because our intros tend to be lackluster, I've started planning topics for us.
Okay.
Just briefly to discuss.
Okay. Go ahead.
I think this is a question. This is kind of a thought-provoking question for you. Okay. What is this podcast in an alternative universe? What does that look like?
Is it the same? Is it different? Or is it just my opinion?
Just when you think about alternative universes, what is this in another universe?
See, I'm the firm believer that alternate universe, you're yourself, but the path is much different.
Oh, I see.
So if we met in an alternate universe, what would our podcast be about? And for some reason, what's coming to mind is we would just be commenting on pop culture. That's what I feel like our alternate.
That's what we do.
I know, but we do a lot more. We do a lot more than that. But
I guess
anyways.
I was thinking to me, alternative universe is completely opposite. So
okay,
you're a lesbian. No, yeah, you're lesbian married to a black woman who.
Love this for me.
I'm a straight man married to a white woman who works in IT.
That sounds
really
yes,
our lives are
completely
flopped. And I have two oh, so sorry.
Oh.
Well, you have two dogs because you're lesbian. That stays the same.
Yeah.
That can't change. And I also have two dogs, or maybe two kids. I don't know. See, that's what I'm
Ooh.
And I think we would be two well-rested therapists.
Oh my God.
And I think we would be just another fucking therapy podcast being so what's everyone doing for self-care?
Yes.
I think
I look at all the people we follow on our Instagram, our Two Tired Therapist Instagram, and I'm they're all take care of yourself, and I'm just bitch, sometimes you just gotta close your door and don't talk to anybody for 3 weeks. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's okay.
I know. I hate all of them on our those other
I know.
ones.
Well, I was trying to get more.
They're following, follow my channel for self-care
Yeah.
tips, and we're over here posting Trixie and Katya memes.
Right.
Because that's who we are.
Yes.
Because we're
that
kind of girl.
Absolutely.
Well, welcome back.
I like that. That was the question. Who would we be in an alternate universe?
It's scary to think about. Can you think do you think if you were gay, do you think you would be with a woman like producer Justin?
Probably not.
What do you think you would? Who do you think it would be?
I feel like I would probably. Well, maybe I would. I don't know. Because I'm pretty introverted, so I'm maybe I would be with somebody who's super extroverted, but then I probably wouldn't like that because it would be too different.
Well,
so maybe I would be.
Are you saying you don't like producer Justin?
Well, I used to consider him an extrovert, but now I really don't.
I like that you didn't answer that question.
I feel I don't know. I feel I would.
And you still haven't.
I'm really trying to think about your. I was really trying to think about your first question though. Would I be with somebody similar to him, or not? And I can't. I don't think so. But because I think I would be trying to go for somebody the opposite of me more so. And I would say we're more similar now.
Yeah.
Than when we first got together.
Interesting.
What was the question I didn't want to answer? I already forgot.
If you like producer Justin,
he's fine. He's fine. He's fine.
He's tolerable.
If you were straight, who do you like? What do you like? What
Oh,
would you
I think I would be full.
describe your future wife?
I would be. I would for sure be a hick or a hillbilly. Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. And
but what is she gonna look like?
Oh, I think fat girl, 100% fat chick. 100%.
Not what I would have said.
Tiny me, 5'4", 100 and whatever pounds I am at this point. She would probably be 250. Yeah, but cute. But cute face. But
yeah,
big
cute.
girl. She'd be a big girl. I don't know. I don't know why. Can you imagine?
No.
Can you? And why? Because I would probably be.
Part of me was thinking.
I would probably be racist.
I honestly was thinking. I was thinking somebody who would be taller than you, curvy.
Yeah.
Big boobs. That's what I was. Really
okay. Interesting. Yeah. Probably. Yeah, I think I'd be more of a boob man than an ass man.
Yeah. That's what I was really thinking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, it was really funny. I think I've told you this. Maybe I've told you this. I don't know. But when I worked in the prison, I never talked about my personal life to them. But for some reason, a lot of them thought I was a lesbian. They really were convinced. They were like, Miss, I won't say my last name, but they were like, are you a lesbian? And I'm like, why does that matter? They're like, we just want to know. And one of them stopped me one day. He goes, I know you got a girlfriend. Oh. And I said, okay. He's like, I just want you to know it's cool with me. And I was like, thanks.
We love that.
They were fine with it, but they were just like, they were very curious because I never talked about my personal life. So they, for whatever reason, about 10 to 15 of them really thought I was a lesbian. I also thought my first name was Jessica. So, which I let them believe that. So
you know,
I said
you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
Or maybe you just lose. You just lose.
I said, well, you know, it's close enough. Anyways.
Close enough. Anyways, what is tired in the world this week for you?
Oh my. You know what I'm tired of? This is on my theme, I think. Yours is flags. I think mine is weather. I don't know. It's like you do go for the weather. We're on the precipice of fall, and it is literally hot tomorrow. As Satan outside.
I know.
And it's global warming, so I'm tired of that too.
I mean,
it's a twofer, but I wish it was like 10 degrees cooler. That's really what I would wish. And I'm tired of the weather not following the season.
I had someone say to me, like, because you know the mornings are cooler.
Yeah.
I would not say fall like.
No, they're not.
I had someone say like, oh, fall's coming. I was like, no, because it was very cool this morning. I said it's gonna be like 87 degrees today. It's not.
Well, and even we've been walking in the mornings. I mean, it's humid. It's cool, but it's humid. It's not. Yes. It's not like
this is not fall.
No.
So don't comment if you don't know.
Stop trying to help.
Stop trying to help because you're making. Sometimes when we help, we hurt.
Yeah.
You know.
What are you tired of?
So
as you scroll through your
as my list. Well, I have some good ones that I can't wait to share. But this one is less of tired. This is a PSA. This is a PSA. This is more of a it grinds my gears, but it's tired. Drive-through line etiquette.
Oh.
People don't know. And so this is being shared with this, just like I said, it's a PSA, no judgment. And I know what people are going to say, because the etiquette is you need to move up.
Yeah.
You have to, then don't leave space, and you need to be paying attention to move up. And people will say, well, what does it matter if I move up quick? We're all going to get, it's not about, it's not about looking forward. It's about looking back.
Yeah, I was going to say, you let the person who could actually get their order and go.
Because let's say you leave half of a car length in front of you, and someone behind you leaves half of a car length.
Yeah,
that's a whole car length now that the person can no longer order, and you have disrupted the flow of the drive-through.
I really thought you were going to say you're tired of the people who pay for the order, like behind them or whatever.
No,
remember when that was a huge movement?
Well, that's so funny you say that, because it actually happened to me last week.
Oh,
but here's the tea on this. Oh no. Oh, hold on. So I was. Let's see. There was two people in front of me. There was like this big van that clearly it was like guys, like painters going to work or something. And I could hear. I had my window down, so I could hear that they were going to pay for the person behind them, which was the person in front of me.
Yeah.
And I heard her order. She got a plain coffee from Starbucks. Girl, get the fuck out.
Psychopath.
Get the fuck out of here. So she goes up, and the person says like, oh, the people in front of you paid, like, so you don't
How would
anything.
You even know what the I mean, I guess they would have had to have ordered.
Well, they asked. I think they asked and said like, how much is the one behind? So then the woman in front of me says, well, I guess I'll pay for the one behind me, which was me.
I guess I'll pay.
And so the girl at the window is like, well, let me tell you what the total is. Well, yours truly got a larger coffee for that day and something to eat, because it was breakfast time.
Sure.
So it was like $10.
Yeah.
So she says, oh, it's $9, whatever. And the lady goes, oh.
Girl.
So much for passing that random act of kindness.
No kindness for you.
So the lady at the window was like, yeah, I know. Like, that's why I tell people what it is first. She's like, you don't have to. It's okay. And the woman's like, no, I guess I should. Again, mind you, I hear all this
happening. She doesn't want good karma.
Exactly. So she paid for it. So thank you if you're listening.
Did you pay for the person behind you?
So then I did. Yeah. And I was like, I don't care what it is. Like, it could have been $20. I would have paid it, because that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
But his ended up being like, he just got a drink. So I think it was like $4 or $5.
You
And
got
the
a
girl at the
deal.
window was like, she was like, you got a deal. I was like, y'all need to go like to
You want
church
your
or
fucking tip,
something.
bitch?
Yeah, like y'all need to go back to unconditional
God.
kindness.
Yeah.
Like I think the world's forgotten.
Yeah.
So
That's never happened to me, but
wow,
and I don't know.
this really popped off.
It's not like it's never happened to me, and I don't know. Like I don't know. I'd have to. It depends on how I felt that day, to be honest. Like, because I get the kindness thing, but like
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like
You think I'm poor, bitch? You think I can't afford my own Starbucks?
My beef a little bit, not huge, but it would be like if I ordered something that was $10 and the person behind me ordered something that was $50, I'd be like,
Sure.
okay, I'm getting hosed on this, but like it's whatever. But I think I would still probably do it. Like I think in the end I would still do it.
Absolutely.
But I
mean,
remember when that was that was like 10 years ago.
I know.
That whole thing. Anyways, I thought that's where you're going.
But then I did think, like, I wonder how long, like, who stopped that? Can you imagine being the one who stops that and was like, whoop?
Well, I'm assuming if nobody stopped it when there was a lull, I mean, that would be like,
Yeah.
Imagine there's like a break for like 20 minutes and they're like, oh, well, the person who, like, I mean, because how could you say what the person behind, I don't know. Anyways, I don't know. I've seen stories on Reddit that's like, I didn't pay and it's like, oh my God. There was a chain going and I said I wasn't going to pay and everybody treated me like shit. And I was like, yeah, no wonder why.
Well, no one, right. Jesus. Anyways, well. Speaking of
acts of kindness.
speaking of how acts of kindness can go wrong.
Oh my God.
We are going to discuss from a very deep professional level.
Sure. You might. I probably won't.
Well, we'll see.
I'm going to try.
We're going to do our best.
I tried when I watched it and I still failed a little bit. It's a hard watch.
If it's any indication
it's
how
worth
we started, we're going to pop off.
It's worth it, I
think. We're going to discuss the now award-winning Netflix series, miniseries. It
was a miniseries. Yeah, I don't think they're going to do another.
How could
it's a one and done.
Baby Reindeer.
Yes.
I think we both watched this some time ago, probably when it first came out. I think I did.
I did, and I think I
then you told me to watch it.
I think I told you to watch it. Yeah.
But recently
they won 6 Emmys.
Oh, Emmy award winning,
including Outstanding Limited or Anthology Series, Outstanding Writing for the lead, Outstanding Lead Actor, and Outstanding Supporting Actress. So they swept
the floor.
Anyways,
so obviously spoilers.
Yeah.
For today, if you have not seen Baby Reindeer, we will probably be spoiling
absolutely.
We're gonna spill the spoiled tea.
So if you haven't watched it and you want to, pause this. Go spend about 8 hours watching that.
Yeah, I think there were it's like 7 episodes.
Yeah, I think it's 7 or 8 episodes.
It's a weekend watch.
It's 7 episodes.
And it's one of those that when you
actually no, they're about 30 to 45 minutes. They're pretty short.
The
first couple are like 30 minutes.
Yeah, they're less than an hour. For sure.
So you spend a couple hours doing that,
and it's one of those that as soon as you finish one episode, you will watch the next one. Always a cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's really hard not to. I think I binged it in like 2 days. Like I watched half of it, and then I was working from home, and then I had it up while I was working.
Yes.
And, yeah.
So here's just the briefest of synopsis before we dive into it.
Lord.
So the story centers on Donnie Dunn, played by Richard Gadd.
Yep.
Who is a bartender in a London pub. One day, he offers a woman, Martha Scott, played by Jessica Gunning, a cup of tea to cheer her up. This leads Martha to develop an attachment to Donnie, and she begins to stalk him both in person and online.
Oh, my God.
That's scratching the surface.
Yeah, that's not... It goes much deeper than that.
And I think the other thing to mention before we dive deep, too, is that this is purported to be based on true events that happened to Richard Gadd, who plays the main character.
Sure.
We're gonna have a lot of talk, I think, about Mr. Donnie Dunn.
Oh. A case conceptualization could be made for this man.
And let's just warn everybody. Well, first off, trigger warning. Naturally, we're gonna be talking about some sexual assault and stuff,
stalking, threats,
but also
sexual threats. I guess
we here at Two Tired Therapists are often not politically correct. So
I'm glad you're making this
please
PSA.
Be aware of that now.
Yeah.
Just kind of initial thoughts today before we dive in and ruin.
I think I watched this like around the time it came out. So this was like earlier this year. So I don't think I've watched it in about 5-6 months. it was uncomfortable. Like I remember feeling really uncomfortable with it. And it was hard. And we can talk about this later because I'm sure you'll have like discussion questions surrounding this. But it was really hard at first to root for Donnie because there's just a lot of shit, and we'll talk about it, I'm sure, that happened in his past that kind of influences his behavior with Martha. So it was like really uncomfortable, and I was like trying so hard to root for him, but it was like every episode he did something real stupid, in my opinion. That really just didn't help his case. And then like there was a point in which like that comedy show where he like had the mental breakdown, and then I was like, oh, I'm like, okay. But overall I really liked it. I thought it was a really cool way to, well, I don't want to say cool way, but I think it was a good story to sort of uplift women stalking men, because that's not something you see very often. And it does happen. I agree. I don't know what the statistics are, but I would say it happens more often than it's reported, obviously. And he does go to the police at one point, and they kind of shame him, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure. But
yes, we will. I agree. I think it does. It's very much one of those like, I don't know, I guess kind of Tiger King-esque, where
you can't like look away.
You can't look away. But it's also like, you know, one episode you're like, oh, okay, I feel bad for this person. And then the next episode you're like, well, now I don't. And then you're like, well, now I do. Like it just, I think your perception of really each character changes, because there's a couple other characters we'll talk about too.
Sure. Yeah. There's a lot. There's actually quite a few like supporting that are, what's the right word? I guess like good and bad influences on him.
Sure.
So, anyways.
So, as we said, this starts when Donnie, who works in a pub, offers Martha a cup of tea or a free Diet Coke or something. Yeah. Because she comes in one day just like down,
Wasn't
depressed.
she like crying or something like that?
Yeah. And at first, she kind of just comes off like she's odd. She's eccentric.
Sure.
And she starts coming to the pub like every day.
Yeah, after that.
But she can't pay. She can never pay.
But then she's like, I'm a lawyer. Yes. I'm a fancy celebrity lawyer.
She's talking about how she's this wealthy lawyer. She's handled all these well-known cases.
Oh, my God.
She shares stories which are made up, very clearly made up. She shares 100%. Pictures which are 100% photoshopped.
Oh, my God. Not even good. I was going to say, not even like high-quality Photoshop where you're like, is this? No, they're like, quality. It's like her in like a completely different light of everybody else. And at one point, he goes on her Facebook, and then there's like hundreds of them. It's like, it's kind of, it's not funny, but it is. Anyways.
So he's kind of entertaining her. He's being kind, but then it kind of escalates, and then it starts to be flirtatious.
And he's sort of, she is definitely like trying to flirt with him, and like at first he sort of like rebuffs her. He's like, oh, haha, and then he kind of is a little like not outwardly,
he plays into it,
but he does like kind of flirt with her. He like winked. I think he winked at her in one episode, and she like lost her shit.
Yeah.
And then wasn't it like, oh, maybe you're getting there. I should let you do it.
No, go ahead.
Was it like so he was working at a pub. There's a couple other people who work with him. They took his phone one day. She got his email, I think.
That happened way much later, but yes.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was
because
sooner.
So she starts,
because that's what started all the emails.
She starts emailing him, and she's emailing him like hundreds a day.
Yeah,
and
they're all like
iconic. She's adding sent from my iPhone, like typing sent from my iPhone at the end of every message, and sometimes it's misspelled.
Yeah, sometimes it's not
iconic. Yeah, 100. Yes. Put me in the coffin.
That was really hilarious, dead. Especially the first time that you showed it with like the typo, or like some of it was like,
it was like send from my iPhone.
Yeah, or it was like iPhone was not like the rest of phone wasn't in right. Or whatever.
And
it was so funny.
He had seen she was on a phone, like it was not. It was like a Nokia,
like an Android, but it's fine.
Something like that.
Anyways,
so that was iconic. So then what you were saying later on. It might have been the next episode. I can't remember. No, it was the next episode. So there's one point where her being at the pub, like it just starts to become problematic, all the emails, and he wants her to get banned.
Yeah,
from the pub. And so while he's trying to do that, I think he like yells at her and storms off. I can't remember exactly what happened, but some of his friends stole his phone, saw all the messages, and responded to one of them, because he wasn't responding to any of these emails.
At that point, he was not, and he was kind of not acknowledging that she was doing it either.
Right, and she wasn't either.
Which was one of my first, like, okay, dude, like, you don't want this lady to say something, like, you don't want to be mean to her, but being like, hey, like, this is not okay, like, you know, please don't email me or whatever. Like, that was the first time I was like, okay, Donnie, get your shit together, dude.
Right.
Like,
right. What
everybody's got this weird.
And when he's playing into it too, like.
Yeah, and he was sort of like I said, he was like winking at her. He was kind of like, but he wasn't saying anything. She did say something to him like, oh, I bet you, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, yeah. Like, that was like the only thing. But yes.
Like, he wasn't saying, like, let's go. But yeah, if she says.
The coworkers.
So, but then the coworkers took his phone.
I forget what they said, but
they said something about anal sex.
Yeah.
Like they wanted to do anal or something.
I can remember. It wasn't that explicit. It was very much like a double entendre. I think it was like.
Something about, like, hang your curtains.
Yeah. I want to, like, hang your curtains in the back or something like that.
Something like that. Something like that.
Okay.
Which naturally she loves. She takes that.
Oh my god.
And
so
it super
that's where
escalates.
That's where it escalates.
But so before that happened though, he one night followed her home. And this is where you're like, okay, what are you doing, girl? Follows her home, discovers that she lives in this like cluttered apartment in like the UK equivalent of like
the projects?
like free housing. What the hell is that called?
Oh, like Section 8.
Like Section 8.
Yeah,
I was thinking 7. I don't numbers. And like sees her typing like on this old computer that probably sounds like a rocket when she turns it on.
It's like a computer from like the late 90s. Like it wasn't like a new computer.
No, it wasn't even a Mac.
No.
Like but he gets caught because he makes noise.
Because of his phone
that's right.
She emails him and his phone vibrates and
he's an idiot.
Fucking idiot.
He's an idiot.
And she kind of sees him. He like runs, tries to hide,
right.
And then the floodgates are
open.
If they weren't open before, there's nothing there.
They are now. So we also meet Terry.
Love Terry.
Oh, Terry.
Terry is the
friend of the pod.
The one saving grace about this whole fucking show.
So, but Terry comes in because Donnie is problematic.
Donnie is problematic, yes, he is.
So Terry is a transgender American therapist.
Yes.
That Donnie meets on a website specifically for people who are transgender to date, I believe.
I think it was
sure.
Yeah.
But Donnie, or rather, I don't think I wrote down what his name was. Tony, thank you. Tony, because he changed his name because he's so ashamed.
Changed his name and his profession.
Which is so stupid. To construction, because he's a comedian.
Yes,
and works at a pub, but now he's construction. Whatever.
I did not understand
that. And is lying to Terry, but they're going on dates and stuff, and Donnie tells Terry about Martha, and Terry's like, well, you need to report this. Like, again, Terry's and Terry's kind of like the feel-good therapist, like, where if this were Jackie and I'd be like, what the fuck, that's crazy. Terry's like, you need boundaries in your life.
If I was dating somebody and they came to me and they told me this story, I think I would block bitch. I would never talk to that person again.
That's the T too.
Because I would be afraid, because people, I don't want to generalize.
Foreshadowing.
But people who stalk it escalates. Did you ever watch oh my God, I Am a Stalker on Netflix?
No, but
okay, you should watch that.
I need to.
Because I watched that before this came out. I think I watched it a year ago. They're going to escalate. So
it's an obsession.
And Terry was right. I loved Terry so much. I was like, oh my God, thank God.
Terry put up with some shit though.
Terry did put up with some shit, but I think she liked Donnie Tony because of whatever. I don't understand why Donnie Tony. Well, and part of it is he's got his own shame, which I'm sure you'll talk about later.
Oh yeah, we'll dive into that. But
yeah, he keeps telling Terry. Donnie Tony tells Terry, and she's fine. Martha's fine. She won't do nothing.
He's like, it's cool.
But yet she's like sending these very sexually kind of I don't want to say violent, but they're pretty explicit messages to him. Like.
It wasn't just you're cute. I mean, it was I
want to
I'll take it up the chuff. It was that kind of stuff.
I was gonna say it was make me your glory hole. Basically, is what it was. It was a lot.
It was clutch the pearl.
It was
for
a
me,
little.
And
it
I'm
was
vile.
A little.
I'm vile, and I was like, oh.
I was sitting there trying to
me.
read all these, and I was like, oh my God, that was the uncomfortable. It was like, oh my God, she was in some of them. I think some of the messages were real messages from the real
allegedly.
Martha.
Yeah,
I think that's the only real part of the whole story, to be honest. But anyways,
so he's kind of going on these dates. Donnie Tony is going on these dates, but also keeping Terry at arm's length because
lying about who he
ashamed,
is. Yes.
and So he does one night go on a date that actually ends up going very well. He ends up being high on cocaine while he does it. And, you know, what are you going to do?
So weird.
And so Terry's like, oh, okay, like finally this guy's opening up because she has no idea.
Yeah, he was like very, like at the date.
She has no idea.
Yeah.
She just thinks like he's just.
Well, they went to some bar that was like, I don't know if it was like a gay bar or like a
yeah,
it was not a straight bar.
It was not a straight bar. So Terry's like, well, let's like kiss, whatever. Well, he has a moment. Freaks out. Also, cocaine.
Sure.
But as he's walking home, Martha is following him.
Yeah.
And she pushes him against the wall and grabs his crotch.
Yes.
So he gets sexually assaulted by Martha.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, he doesn't stop contact. He does threaten to go to the police and tell them, which does make her disappear for a moment.
For a hot second.
A hot second. But then she pops back up.
Sure, yeah.
At the bus stop. Across the street.
Oh, that's right.
Like despondent.
Well, the other
depressed and despondent.
I don't want to say it's problematic, but I do feel it's slightly problematic. The other problematic thing about Donnie is he lives with his ex-girlfriend's mom.
Yes.
I think
we'll get into that today,
I think for time we won't talk about it, but suffice to say it's an odd situation that I don't think anybody should do in real life personally, but whatever.
No, it was messy. For sure.
It was bad. It turns out bad also at one point. So
of course he's like, at first he's like, okay, she's like crazy, but then as Donnie Tony does, he becomes sympathetic.
Yes.
And goes to talk to her. She's like catatonic.
Yeah.
Like not speaking, nothing. He takes her back to her place and then in his genius thinking goes, well, I'll play into her fantasy, pretend we are dating, and then I'll break up with her, which plot twist actually kind of helps because then she really disappears for a while until a comedy show.
Yes, I was going to say, don't forget about the comedy show.
And she like heckles him and all this, and that escalates quickly. And then later, I think that same night, Tony is with Terry.
Yes.
And Martha assaults Terry.
Yes.
And says very transphobic things.
She's among a lot of other problematic things.
A lot of other problematic
and then like
things.
pulls her. I think she pulled her hair out.
Yeah, she pulled some hair out. Yeah. So it. But again, this is all because, and I know some people are like, yeah, you can't victim blame. Tony's over here doing crazy things.
I will say for those who have seen this and are like, I mean, it's hard. It's kind of hard not to victim blame him because he really makes so many poor choices at so many different events.
And I think we could maybe discuss.
Again, he would be a great case conceptualization. To be honest, like he would be a really interesting, like full blown, like deep dive into that man's psyche. Because there's, I mean, we'll talk about some of the stuff in his past, but
yes.
It's hard to root for him. It was very hard to root for him for a while.
It is.
Yes.
Maybe we should take a break.
Okay.
We're probably about halfway through the series.
Sure.
So we'll finish it, and then I've got some discussion questions for us. And then a fun little edition of Gay or Straight.
Or Hillbilly?
What?
I said or Hillbilly?
Or Hillbilly, bisexual Hillbilly, all the other things. We'll be right back. And we're back. So let's get through the rest. I'm going to try to go through some of this quick. It's for more what we're going to talk with our discussion questions.
Sure.
So after Martha assaults Terry, Donnie goes to the police, finally.
Yes.
And they victim blame him. They do the whole, why didn't you report this?
Yeah, it's a little rough. Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. So we get a flashback that Donnie was also sexually assaulted by a well-known writer, I guess. Was he a writer? I wasn't really sure what he was.
He was a writer of like a TV show or something. He was a writer. I think it was like a TV show. And Donnie, just so people understand Donnie, he's not like a comedian in the sense of like a stand-up or like, he's kind of like a prop comic, almost like Carrot Top. And like,
yes.
I think that's sort of important because you don't see that. Like, I actually thought he was really funny. Like all the scenes where he was doing his comedy, he was actually kind of funny, like kind of dad jokey type of prop comedy stuff. Right. But anyways,
yes.
So yeah, that's right.
He's trying to break into writing, I think, like sitcoms and stuff. And so he meets this writer, Darian.
Yes.
And they get befriended, and I think he's a big fan of his or something. I don't know, but they kind of befriend. Well, Darian starts to drug.
Yes.
Intentionally. Like, Donnie knows. Like, he's like, oh, let's try, the G or the K.
Yeah,
or,
like,
whatever the girls do these days. But with the drugging, he assaults Donnie.
Yep.
And Donnie continues their relationship in hopes that he gets famous.
Yes.
So this would be truly grooming.
Yeah,
this would be true grooming.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like, he kind of was like, well, and you could see it with like the little carrots, I think. I don't remember everything specifically, but he was like, come help me write or you start writing like a pilot for a TV show and I'll help you. And like, there was like little carrots, little breadcrumbs.
Yeah, and he'd look at his writing and stuff. So this goes on for some time.
Yeah, and he like went to all of his comedy shows at this one pub, and it was like kind of as Donnie got better, as he kind of refined his comedy stuff, like Darren was always there. It was a little weird.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So eventually that relationship does deteriorate and Donnie stops.
Sure.
He can't stand it. But he goes off the deep end, as I think is expected after this. He has many sexual relationships with many people of all genders. He's feeling very confused, angry, guilty because of the assaults.
Yeah.
And so all of this is kind of backstory that leads us back to Donnie and maybe why he's got this strange relationship with Martha and this strange relationship with Terry.
Yes.
So, so we kind of come back to Donnie trying to report Martha and he's not able to do it.
Yeah.
Because he, I guess, I don't really know because he knows what it feels like. I don't know. That was a little
like I think a part of it was shame. I think he felt a lot of shame. And they were not really super nice to him because he was like, they were like, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. Like he didn't tell them who she was. Something that I think we mentioned, but she was a convicted stalker. Like, yes. And then he found that out later. He found that out like in the first.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, because remember she had like.
Oh, he was like Googling
She
her.
got like convicted and like.
Yes.
There was the person she stalked.
Because she was the prime minister's.
She was like a lawyer. She was a legit lawyer at one point, but then got disbarred because of the stalking case. So I think he gets like, I think in the back of his head, if I'm conceptualizing him, he probably thought he could help Martha / like stop this on his own without interference from the police.
Maybe.
I don't know. That's
well, I think you don't. Well, like we said, like in the beginning, she was just kind of like an odd girl. Yeah. And, you feel sorry. I think in the beginning you feel sorry for her.
Yeah, she's not. I mean, well, this actress is very beautiful.
Yes.
But like they were trying to make her not as attractive.
She was homely.
Yeah. She was
a big girl.
Yeah, she was frizzy curly hair, like not wearing fashionable stuff. I mean, like. So I get it anyways, but yeah.
But it's it's clear she's lying about her being so cool and like doing the scent from my iPhone. But like it's just kind of it's weird, but it's not. She's not like I don't know, like throwing her shit all over the place. Like she's not crazy.
Well, and all these messages or most of these messages, she's calling him Baby Reindeer too, which is where we totally skipped that part.
Sorry, yeah, she calls him Baby Reindeer.
She calls him and Donnie doesn't understand why this is his nickname, but anyways.
So, Donnie moves in with Terry.
Yes.
And comes out as bi. Hi, gay. And
that's right.
But this relationship begins to suffer because one, Terry's traumatized from being attacked by Martha.
Sure.
And Donnie's continuing to talk to Martha. And Donnie's having boner problems because of his trauma.
And didn't Martha get banned from the pub like slightly before this?
Yes,
because
I think right before.
Because she like threw a glass or something at him. I don't remember.
Yes.
Like she like actually like
she assaulted him. Yeah, she assaulted him.
So then she's kicked out of the pub. So then I'm calling him Danny now.
Danny.
Donnie Tony.
Donnie Tony. So yes, after that, and yes, he was attacked. So he goes to report Martha again.
Yeah.
And he's finally able to get them to look into her because he tells them about the prior convictions.
Yes.
And so they say, leave him alone. She complies and leaves him. So then he kind of feels like, okay, I'm good. But here's where it gets crazy.
Oh my God.
He starts flicking the bean to her picture and fantasizing about having sex with her. But plot twist, this clears his sexual dysfunction, and he starts taking Terry to Pound Town. and everyone's happy.
This is where I, again, had a hard time. I was like, okay, dude.
It's Tiger King. It's what the fuck just happened. It's what the fuck just happened.
It was hard. I was like, come on, man. Like,
right.
give me something to root for you for.
Right. Like, it was Gone Girl. Like, you're banging. Like,
yeah.
But now you're banging. What?
Yeah, because I think at one of the episodes, she like left a picture of herself in like underwear in his apartment or on his doorstep. I don't remember. That's what he was masturbating.
And he was, intently. So... But you're kind of like, okay, well, that's weird, but everyone's great now. Everyone's feeling good. Everyone's feeling fine. But then this episode ends with Donnie's parents calling him.
He's on like a really nice date with Terry. They're at like a very nice restaurant.
Yes.
He like doesn't, I don't think he answers the phone. He like ignores the call.
And they keep calling.
And then like you hear the voicemail of them, which
his
is
dad. Yeah.
Like, what hospital are you at?
Right.
Like, and then you obviously realize it's Martha.
Yeah. They say like, someone called us. What was her name? Martha.
Yeah.
So... Yeah. Just to escalate, everything escalates, right? Like Donna and Martha, the tension. Donna.
This man, we cannot get
these names are Donnie and Martha. That it just becomes toxic.
Yeah.
Terry breaks up with Donnie because she's done. Donnie goes to as you alluded earlier, goes to this comedy final.
Wait, did you? Is this before or after he like tried to like entrap her? Like he tried to record her, like because the police were like, "Don't talk to her. Like stop talking to her." And then because I think he told the police she's calling my parents or something like that.
I think it was around the same time.
And then, then I think she said something about his dad. Did she call his dad
a pedophile
that came
or
later?
Something? Yes,
okay.
yes.
Well,
yes.
And then Donnie has the bright idea to like go and trap her and like record her and like and then she like entraps him. And
she got him. No, I didn't get to that part.
Okay, sorry, I don't remember the order of it, but yeah.
Well, I think it was the voicemails because she starts to call him and leave hundreds of voicemails.
Yeah.
Because he goes to this comedy final, has a breakdown, talks about how he's been assaulted.
Oh God,
like it was so bad.
Poor guy. I mean,
it was raw.
I think probably the best TV.
Mm-hmm.
Streaming like breakdown I think I've ever seen, like because it was a very like real, like a very real moment that like people were watching, didn't know how to respond. And he had like just
and
floodgates are open.
Allegedly, we'll talk about this. Allegedly, this happened to him in real life, so it's kind of like him playing this character who's going through this that also happened to him.
Because after I watched it, I was like, I want to see the real thing because I'm that person, and so I googled like because people were like, oh, it's on YouTube. It didn't happen happened across like multiple different comedy shows. Like there were like couple times where he like freaked out or whatever. And then there was a whole thread or like a whole article that was like, there isn't like a specific set that he did that he acted like this. It was just like over the course of like probably 20 shows.
Interesting.
Shit came out in different ways.
See,
and
that's
where I was like, okay, because
what's going on?
Yeah. Anyways, sorry.
So he goes viral because of this.
Yes.
And that helps his career. Well, then that's when Martha starts calling him all these voicemails. Yes, he starts categorizing them and sorting them.
Because he says, I'm so sorry, I can't answer your email. I'm so busy. Here's my phone number, dumbass. And that's how Martha gets his phone number, especially even in the voicemails.
Yes.
That's right. I was like, anyways.
But she's not really saying anything like bad until, she threatens to like stab his parents or something. And so that leads to her being arrested and charged.
Yes. I will say, we don't have to talk about it, but Donnie goes to see his parents.
Yes.
And there's a very nice little scene. I won't say more than that, but it's a really nice healing scene between his parents and.
Yeah. I think it goes to more of the like, what you said earlier about like men talking about being assaulted.
Yeah. It's, and I think he tells his parents he's bisexual and he's like, and they don't really give a shit.
Right. They're like, great.
And his dad's kind of like this old schooly, like Catholic hardened, like,
Scottish man.
Yeah, tries to be.
And do you remember?
What did he say? He said something really funny.
When he's leaving, so Donnie's leaving to go back, and he's on the train. He says, "Good luck with the transsexual." Yeah. In a Scottish accent. I can't do a Scottish accent.
He was trying to be supportive, and he said
it was
like,
so
the wrong thing.
funny.
It was really
so
funny.
Loved
That's
it.
Right.
Loved
I forgot
it
about
so
that.
much. Good luck with the transsexual.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It was so funny. So she gets arrested and charged, and I don't know how you felt about the court scene, because when she's in court, like Donnie and his parents go.
I thought it was just Donnie. I didn't. Was he by himself?
I thought the parents were there. Maybe not.
Maybe they were. I don't remember. I remember they focused on him. Honestly.
I mean, and we'll talk about it, but like, for me, I was kind of like, had a little sympathy for Martha at that point because
yeah, she looks rough.
And I don't think she
didn't realize he was there either. I don't
think so. But I don't, and we'll talk about it, but like, you know, it's one of those moments again where you're like, everybody's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
In this show.
And then she, I don't know. It was interesting, but after that, I think he said, she gets like a year in prison and like a bunch of probation.
It was like 9
like
9 months
year,
and then some on probation.
And then so he's like, oh, I'm not gonna do comedy anymore. I'm gonna whatever.
He does something else. I don't remember.
Well, yeah.
So he goes to visit Darian.
Yeah.
To confront him.
Yeah.
Which okay, but does he do that? No, he takes a job from Darian.
And then he has a panic attack promptly.
And then he has a panic attack, as one does. So he ends up like going to a pub, and he's got a voicemail from Martha where she explains why she calls him Baby Reindeer, and it kind of gives you more background on her that clearly she had a terrible life, and she had this baby reindeer, and it looked like him, evidently, and brought her comfort.
I don't think he looks like a reindeer. I don't know.
I don't either, but whatever. So then I think again, Donnie's like, oh shit, like she's fucked up, I'm fucked up, like everybody's fucked up. Well, so he's having a moment in this bar.
Yeah, he's like crying. I think he was crying.
And
I'm sure there was probably some like, this is all over now. Like there's probably some relief, but also like everybody's done fucked up.
Well, is it over now? Because he's having his little moment, and the bartender comes over and says, "Your drink's on me," and Donnie's kind of like. And it's kind of like come full circle because that's how this started. And now it's like, oh, great. Now Donnie's Martha. Yes. And so that's the end.
Yes.
So that's Baby Reindeer.
Yes.
The wild ride of Baby Reindeer. So we've kind of already talked as things have come up. But let's talk about our first topic, Donnie's behavior. Are his choices from trauma or something else?
I'm going to try to be really therapeutic.
No, don't do that.
I think his poor choices are the result of his warped trauma mind trying to do the right thing and be nice and not what's really should be done.
Yes.
Like, he doesn't want to be direct. Like, I mean, and I could generalize this to a lot of people. And, like, even me, too. Like, a lot of people don't want to be direct. It's, like, it's kind of awkward to be, like, stop emailing me these emails. Like, it feels rude. But, like, I think you can tell that he thinks he's making the right choices at different parts of the thing. Especially when he tries to entrap her with the recorder saying something very sexually aggressive to him. And then he goes and says, he says something really sexually aggressive to her. She records it, and then she goes to the police. This is like episode 5 or 6 or whatever. Yeah. But
well, it was the asking for anal. That was because they were like, well, we have a text from her where you're asking to like have sex, and he's like, well, that wasn't me, and they're like, well,
and then when he went to go see her and was recording her, she was recording him, and she went to the police before he did, and they were like, you idiot. So I think it's hard because I'm trying to think if like anybody would have made these choices, but it's hard because there's such there's such trauma that I think he thought he was doing the right thing. I don't know, but he made so many bad choices.
He did. I think
it's hard.
Some people do become. I think especially from sexual assault, like we think people become this skittish, traumatized person, but some people are what we might call fawners, and they become people pleasers.
Yeah.
And so I think Donnie falls into that category where
agreed.
He knows what it's like to be like this broken thing like Martha and all this. And so he doesn't want to do anything that could seem too assertive or could like break her because he knows what that feels like. So I think he did a lot of fawning, but like you said, that's not always a good thing because fawning typically means no boundaries.
Yeah.
So but at the same time, I think some of it was... So what about his shame around his sexuality and being attracted to Terry? That I am... And I don't know. The research could prove me wrong, but I'm under the notion that sexual trauma does not affect your sexuality.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
I think you can have inappropriate sexual fantasies or inappropriate sexual relationships with people, but I don't think it affects your sexuality, because that's kind of what he was going. That was his moment. Like, he was like, "Oh, I got like sexually assaulted, so now I like people who are trans." No.
And there's a myth that's like, well, I forget, this research probably has different statistics now. I don't even remember what they were, but there's also like, for a long time it was like, if you were sexually assaulted as a kid, then you become a pedophile.
No,
and that's not how it works.
No, that's
either.
not how that works.
But I don't think there's any.
No.
I don't think there's any. Like, I think if anything, you avoid like sexual relationships like completely,
or they just are like you're having sex with lots of people. But
it would, if I could see how it would, especially as an adult. I won't even. We don't have to talk about childhood sexual stuff, but. Like, I feel like for him, maybe it was confusing because, like, he was on drugs. Like, he probably he didn't remember it. I think he woke up in one of them. That was like that one episode. And, I think that's where some of the stuff for him came up, maybe. I don't know. I mean.
Yeah. Well, I think he was attributing it to, like, oh, I got sexually assaulted. Yeah. So, like, now I like people who look like a woman but have a penis. Yeah. And it's like, no, I think those just things kind of happened close together.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it pushed you to be in a relationship like that.
Yeah.
But no. Any other thoughts about his behavior and his trauma? And I sometimes
the drug use was hard for, because he kept trying to like drug him, like because he was pretty, I don't want to say heavily doing drugs, but he was doing a lot more drugs in the first half of the series. Mm-hmm. I was like, you're trying to medicate yourself because right. You don't want to have these thoughts, and like, if you like psychology and want to get into psychology, this is probably a good series to like watch and like see all these things. But
it's intricate. Yeah,
and there's just a lot of, I don't know what the right word is. There's just a lot of stuff.
And there's no one answer either.
Yeah,
I think it's, if this were a Reddit story, it would be everyone sucks.
Yeah, it would be.
Right?
Yeah,
like, it would be
everyone sucks here.
Everyone sucks here.
ESH.
So some of the drama around this was this woman, Fiona Muir Harvey, came forward saying she was the inspiration for Martha. And let's preface this conversation with, no one forced her to do this.
No, in fact, Richard Gadd, who wrote it and stars in it, he's the main character, he basically said, do not try to find her, do not, like, that's not the point of this. The point, and this is not 100% true, like, this is, part of this is made up. This is not everything. And then, you know what? What'd she do? Was it Piers Morgan? She went on Piers Morgan and was like, bitch, guess who I am?
She went on Piers Morgan and was like, oh, like, I hate all this publicity, even though I literally stepped into it.
It was, I couldn't, did you watch the interview? I can't watch it.
Sorry if you hear my queso and chips crunching, but I could not watch it.
Girl.
I can't do that, girl. But I did watch some clips of it.
Yeah, I've seen, well, it was quite memeable at the time.
Let me say, I don't know if she did a character study for Martha, but I was like, oh, Martha and you are very alike. I don't know who came first, but so I don't know. Go watch that. But yeah, everyone has said that she's not it. Richard, whatever his name is, has said that's not her.
Yeah.
But then she's kind of also saying, like,
she kept saying it was her. Like,
she kept saying it's her, but then she's mad. But then she's also, when they're asking her about it, she's like, well, I only sent him like 10 emails or something. But then she's mad that some of the messages that they did show were real.
At one point, she was trying to sue Netflix too. She's like, because they outed her, and it's like, girl, you went on, like, even if you're not the person, but again, as Kyle said, if you put a picture of the two of them next to each other, I mean, it's the similarities are mostly striking.
And again, that's where I'm like, they act like each other, but it's like, did this woman just start acting like Martha to get her 15 minutes of limelight, or
that's right. In May, her and her legal team launched a $170 million lawsuit against Netflix, claiming she had been defamed at a magnitude and scale without precedent.
Girl, you defamed yourself.
She is suing for intentional infliction of emotional distress and negligence and gross negligence.
Well, there you go.
In her claim, she points out the disparities between the two stories, that while Martha is a twice convicted stalker who ends up serving jail time in real life, Harvey has no stalking convictions, which is very interesting. And it's, sorry, I'm stealing your thunder on this, but Gadd previously said that the real Martha sent him more than 40,000 emails and 350 hours of voicemails, right. But Harvey told Piers Morgan on his uncensored chat that this was not true.
And there's also people who are looking for Darian and thought it was some playwright
Yeah.
And Richard Madden or whatever fuck his name is.
Richard
Gad was like,
guys,
it's not him.
stop.
But then my thing is like, and I don't know, this gets victim blamey. Did this happen? Like, what do you think?
Well, and so he had to go to court because of Martha's lawsuit, and so I'm reading this from a Deadline article from, I don't know, within this last month. Gad's own statement to the courts in California seen by the Mail states, while the series is based on my life and real events, it is not a beat-by-beat recounting of the events and emotions I experienced as they transpired. It is fictionalized and is not intended to portray actual facts, which the series does say that pretty much at the beginning.
Well, and that's what people, when something says this is based on true events, that means based on true events, not this really happened.
Don't make me do. Should I tell you my little story? I'll never forget this. So, this has absolutely nothing to do with Baby Reindeer. Buckle up, bitches.
Oh my God. They're used to it. They're used to it.
So, I'm not a horror movie person, but back in the day, I went to a movie with my boyfriend at the time, and it was The Strangers. You ever seen that horror movie? So,
chilling.
That movie scared the fuck out of me.
Chilling.
That's like probably one of the last movies I saw in a theater because it just scared me.
Yep.
And at the beginning or the end, it was like based on a true story. So I looked it up because I was like, this cannot, because I mean, it's a scary movie. I won't spoil the plot. I'm sure everybody's seen it because it's like a 15-plus-year-old movie. But the true story was they found 3 bodies like 2 miles away from the cabin. And I was like, what? And now every time I see that, I think of that. I think like, oh, it's not like, could be true based on true story. Could be like the color of their hair was the same.
Literally.
So I mean,
it's like, or like Amityville Horror, right? Like all those franchises, like it's like that. So whatever. Anyways, okay. There's so much other. We gotta stop diving in. We're probably at like 9 hours at this point.
We're in trouble.
So let's take a little break.
Okay.
We'll come back. We'll finish out with our Gay or Straight UK edition.
Oh, UK edition. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
And we're back.
Welcome back. I'm just gonna round out with a little Gay or Straight UK edition.
Oh my God!
Because the Baby Reindeer was in London.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's still UK, right?
Yeah.
It's not Britain. It's not Great Britain, right?
They're all the same.
Brexit?
Well, the United
Brexit. It's not a thing anymore.
That's not part of. No, that's like.
It's still the United Kingdom.
Yeah, the United
Kingdom. Or
is
it Great Britain?
United Kingdom is Ireland, Scotland, and Great Britain.
They Brexited though.
That's not for. It's for the EU. It's not for the countries. Yeah.
Well,
good.
You see that I am not up on world
Here
politics,
I go,
but Jackie is. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to quiz Jackie.
I love the UK RuPaul's Drag Race. It's probably my favorite franchise.
Well, that's not what this is. This is just like UK. I kind of thought of like traditional or like stereotypical UK things people might associate.
Sure.
So, gay or straight? T.
Gay.
Yeah, it's gay. Oh yeah. And anyway,
I paused longer than I was like first. I was gay.
Like tea that you drink, tea that you spill. Like it's all gay.
Gay.
Mm-hmm. Buckingham Palace.
Straight.
Oh,
big straight energy.
Big straight energy. Okay, very good.
Please.
The late Queen Elizabeth II.
Straight.
Oh, see, I would go gay.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh yeah. Gay icon.
Her shoes and purse never matched her. Like it was always black shoes, black purse, no matter what.
Well, but you can't mix your leathers.
Plus, she didn't want to talk about her emotions. You ever watch The Crown?
Neither do the gays.
I guess that's true.
King Charles.
Gay.
Oh, straight. Wait, is that the current king?
Yeah.
Yeah, straight. Gay. Interesting.
We're differing. This is probably like
this is interesting. London Bridge.
Straight.
I would say bi.
I thought bi, and then I was like, it feels more straight.
Like a bridge.
A little hillbilly.
Bridge feels gay. Bridge is gay. Like
yeah.
Bridge is yeah. The British accent.
Gay.
Yeah, I think so. Gay. Fish and chips.
Straight.
Yeah, straight. Mm-hmm. The English countryside.
Gay.
Very gay. Very gay.
Oh my God. I would. I've never been. Have you ever been to the UK, Great Britain area?
No.
Neither have I.
No.
Really would
Edward has. We'll have to ask him.
Okay. Yeah.
He's been to London.
Oh.
Big Ben.
Straight.
Oh, I would say gay. Big Ben. Yeah.
I could go
Maybe
buy. I could go buy on it.
Okay. And then last one, bangers and mash.
Straight.
I know. I think that's a tough one. You'd think gay because phallic.
Yeah.
You would think, but it's straight.
But
it's straight.
It's straight. 100% is straight.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Very good. Well, there you go. Baby Reindeer. I think still worth the watch, even if you've not seen it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's good, but I mean, it is tough. It is funny.
If you want to feel bad about yourself actively victim blaming somebody, you should watch it.
You should watch it, yeah.
Because that's kind of how I felt for a while.
Or if you're like, well, I don't know. I won't speak for you, but if you're completely desensitized to things, I need to feel something from like, because people will be like, oh, I watched this, movie and the person had cancer. And I'm like, what? Like, deal with that every day. Like, if you need to feel something because you're dead inside, this is what to watch.
And you're probably going to feel bad because you're going to be like, Donnie Tony is a fucking idiot.
And
then you're like,
idiot.
But he's had so many bad things happen to him. But then you're like, you're making somebody. It's a very conflicting show, but I think it's worth the watch, especially if you want to see something that you don't typically get to see on the media.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
well, there you go.
There you go, everybody.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yes, it was a lovely, lovely episode.
It was a lovely episode, and I'm sure you're all.
You're better. You've listened and
it.
you've heard.
You've grown.
Yes.
And we're proud of you for that.
Yes.
So stay tired.
And petty.